From the 15 technologies that I could do, the technical expertise I spent time developing were the following technologies: model making, laser cutting, 3D printing, process slicer software, rendering using Blender, app design using Adobe XD, NFC and RFID tags, research and selection, Arduino for coding, and video editing using Premiere Pro. This project allowed me to set a lot of new learning goals, particularly as the project was a giant leap for me into a new world of technology: software development, networks, RFID scanning, and NFC tags. I needed to learn these technologies from the ground up using any and all the resources available to me. I rapidly became a devoted consumer of how-to videos on YouTube and other MOOC resources such as LinkedIn Learning. I also leveraged my friendship network, and that helped me to learn about Arduino. The new technologies I set as goals to learn included smartphone apps, Arduino, web servers, QR codes, NFC tags, etc. To connect the Arduino scanner to an app server hosted within a web server, I set myself the goals of understanding the internet and network technologies that supported this connectivity, the protocols for NFC data transfer between the scanner and the app server, and server hosting platforms. But it wasn't all about these new technologies. I also had clear goals to improve my knowledge and skills in technologies that I'd learned at uni and on my placement year. I wanted to improve my model making skills, particularly to eliminate errors early in the design process. I'd only worked with 3D powder printers before, and for this project I set a goal to learn about 3D PLA printers. Similarly, I'd used GIMP as a rendering software during my placement to change colours on models. Before the project, I set myself the goal to create high-end renders from scratch using Blender. The techniques and tools I'd learned to design for the user needs would be key to developing a great UI for my smartphone app. So I set myself 2 goals in this area. Firstly, to apply my existing knowledge of user needs analysis to this challenge, and secondly, to learn about app UI design. Finally, I wanted to wow this part of the project, this video, so I set myself the goal of learning some new features and techniques within Adobe Premiere Pro and creating GIFs using Giphy. Learning became a massive highlight for me throughout the entire project. My research, ideation, development and prototyping spanned the 3 parts of the project: physical, software and networking. Within each part I evaluated different technical designs, components and solutions to create a final Scansation solution. In the physical part of the project, learning how to use Blender to render the NFC stickers and keyring fobs, plus the way marker, creation of the physical items from the renders using the PLA 3D printer, and finally the shaping and milling of the timber post in my life-size model. I would also highlight the learning and research I performed to build the scanner embedded in the way markers based on a solar-powered battery-enabled Node MCU module with an embedded Wi-Fi module and an RFID NFC scanner. The understanding the physical constraints of the scanner, for example power constraints, and the tags, for example copper versus aluminium coils, made me realize that the world of electronics and microcontrollers is far from simple. In the software part of the project, my learning curve was much steeper, with key highlights being software development and testing using the Arduino framework and the creation of a prototype smartphone app. In building the Scansation social media app, I learned about many aspects of app design, such as mood boards, color selection, icons, low and high fidelity wireframes, interaction and animations, etc. In the networking part, I investigated and compared the various network technologies that would enable me to create a network solution capable of carrying the scanned data from the waymarker to the central app web server and then to the smartphone app. The network needed to support connection of the waymarkers to a scannable item and connection of the waymarkers to the backend app web server. I learned about and then reviewed many technologies such as QR codes, RFID, NFC, Wi-Fi, mesh network, satellite, internet, etc. Throughout the project, I also learned that seeking constant user feedback through an agile design process could make a vital contribution. I frequently surveyed my target users using Adobe XD design review functionality. Their feedback sometimes surprised me and sometimes confirmed my ideas, but always guided me to better solutions. I consulted with an expert in ecological planning at Stamner Park One Garden on waymarker placement. Their input guided me to the best solution: Scansation.